Hello, everybody, and thank you for coming in. I appreciate you. I don't know what's going on. I got booted out of that, so hopefully we won't have no more further issues. I don't know what's going on, to be honest with you. I've been having some issues since yesterday with this. Although I did go live yesterday and it worked, so I don't know if it's just my internet or what it is. Give me a moment here, though, and I'm going to try to figure it out. I can't tell if it's me or if it's Rumble, so I don't know what's going on, guys. On X, it seems to be working good, and on Facebook, let me check. Let me just check here on Facebook. All right, on Facebook, it looks to be running good. Okay. All right, X and Facebook look like they're running just fine. So I don't know what's going on with Rumble. This is very strange. I don't know what's going on here. I go on Rumble and it looks like it's an absolute mess. Uh, I don't know what's going on here. Sorry, guys. I didn't expect to have these issues. I don't know what is happening here. Rumble is having a meltdown. You go on to my Rumble here, and I don't even know what this is. I didn't put this on here. What in the world is happening right now? Sorry, guys. I'm not trying to. I don't know what's going on. Rumble is having a conniption fit. I go on Rumble, I can't see anything happening, but if I go on X, it seems to be working just fine. And YouTube is working good. Huh. What is going on, Rumble? We're having some issues here, that's for sure. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to figure this out. I don't know what's happening on Rumble here. I'm wondering if I should restart the stream again or what's going on here. I don't know. Rumble's having a conniption fit. They've gone insane. Nope.
That type of stuff is just, it's madness, because it's like, what do you mean you don't know why Alex is attacking you? You attacked him. You don't need, like, so I guess in Tim's mind, he attacked Alex Jones. And it was at that point, it was as soon as he attacked Alex that I guess a Democrat of some sort went to Alex and was like, I know you don't want to attack back, but we're going to give you money too. And that inspired, because it doesn't make it, because this doesn't make any sense, folks. It's literally just a timeline that you have to be knowledgeable of. It's not that hard to find. But like I said, we'll get to Tim Pool in a minute, because I've heard some things, folks. I can't even repeat most of what I've heard, but good Lord. I'll tell you, there's nothing like working at the Alex Jones Network. There's nothing like working at InfoWars.
I don't know what's going on here.
And that is only re-emphasized and reestablished in my mind every time I talk to anybody that works at any other right-wing outlet. I don't know what's wrong with everybody else, but Alex doesn't make it seem that hard. Like, you treat your employees well, you run a good business. It's not that complicated. And then anybody...
I can't let it go like this. I just can't. I don't know what's going on with Rumble right now. This is absolutely insane. Yeah, what is happening on Rumble? I don't want to have to keep restarting the stream. We are having some serious meltdown on Rumble here today, and I don't know what it is, guys. I feel like if I just restart it, the same thing's going to happen. So, what do we do here? I'm sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to work out these technical difficulties, but I feel like Rumble has crashed or something. I don't know what's going on. I must be getting botted or something, because I go to somebody else's show on Rumble and I can't even watch. I don't know what's happening. If you guys can watch Rumble, if you guys aren't having any issues, could you go on? Could you just say something in the chat? If you guys are not having any issues? Because I'm having some big issues here, and I don't know what's going on. Well, I'm just going to keep streaming. I can't afford not to
I talk to
again.
In any other right-wing outlet, Tim Pool included, it's just like insane backstabbing drama, but allegations. I'm not saying that about Tim Pool. I did not hear that. just to be clear. But other places, you may have heard some things. Networks, I'm just like, God, we have it so good here. We have it so good here that we just, you know, our boss isn't a spiteful, vengeful little beanie wearing scumbag. That's very nice. But also everybody.
Pool today, man. What is going on? That's crazy, yo. Like, what is going on between Tim and Alex? One little tweet blew up into a full-blown feud here. Alex yesterday was asking him to get into a ring with him. What is going on, man? This is, honestly, it's pretty crazy. I never seen these two go at it like that. I honestly, genuinely thought they were friends or something of that nature. I didn't know it was like this. So, yeah, this is crazy. Like, I didn't think they were like best buddies, but I didn't think it was like this between them at all. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on.
As hard as they can all of the time. That's really the most astonishing thing. Is you go to another right-wing place and Tim. This actually is the best. I mean, you go to Tim Pool, you're hanging out for a couple hours before the show starts, and it's like there's people doing some skateboarding, there's people playing some pinball, some people watching TV, and it's like, does anybody do work around here? What is everybody doing? What are you all doing here? And it's the same every other right-wing place I've gone. You go there, I'm expecting it to be like Inforce. I'm expecting like you show up and it's like everybody's like headphones on, dialed in, pulling things up. There's like editors and writers and like that's what it's like here. You go to these other places, it's just like, you want to go like get some lunch for?
Not sticking up for him either way. I feel like there's probably not a lot of preparation there. You get on, you talk about the subjects of the day, you launch. I mean, look, I do it all from here. See what is going on here. How did that happen?
What happened? Like, what did you do? And I was like,
what did you do?
I tweeted that if you build up a channel for 10 years supporting Trump, but then stop supporting him, you're going to lose viewers. And everyone's like, yeah, that's not a reason for him to make up.
Yeah, but that was a lie.
It's like, you know what I will say is, obviously we know a lot of people who work at his company.
Really?
And there's a lot of fervor right now over what he's doing.
Is there?
And there's a lot of, we'll see what happens.
Will we?
But I do think that for most people, and sacrifice their morals for the paycheck.
There's a lot of money sloshing around right now.
Yeah. Wait, what? There's what?
Saying, do you expect anybody who works with Alex to stop working with him because they think he's a bad guy?
No.
How much you want to bet? None of them will. They'll just say, leave me out of it.
Yeah.
I mean,
just fair to some degree. I mean,
yeah. All right, let's pull it down. Couple things. First of all, don't you love in the middle of the video where they're talking about Alex Jones must be paid. People just do this for money. That you've got the guy going, well, money's sloshing everywhere right now. Really? I didn't know that. Crew, do you guys know there's money sloshing around everywhere? It's those types of, everybody here is working for Qatar, obviously. Money just sloshing around all over. Everybody's getting paid to say so. Like, it's that, you kind of just gave yourself away a little bit right there. There could very well be a lot of money sloshing around in the right-wing ecosystem right now. There could be a lot of money getting a lot of people to say a lot of things they wouldn't say if they weren't paid for it. That could be. That could very well be. I don't know, because I'm not in those discussions, because we don't take money, because that's just not what we do. So I think, first of all, that little line, I think, may be more important than they realized at first. Yeah, money sloshing all over the place right now. Really into your coffers, I wonder? I mean, you seem pretty interested in it. And by the way, just after this clip, Tim Pool gets into like, oh, well, we make a lot of money. I mean, sure, we make a ton of money, and that's no issue at all. Oh yeah, here we go. It's coming. Hold on. Oh, they missed it. We missed it. You got to throw it at me again. Sorry, guys. This is yes. It's all flying around. Money everywhere. Look at all these dollars I got from somebody, right? They must have come from somewhere. Precious money. This is my Tim Pool impression. I think Alex is I think he's compromised. I think that I mean we all know that there's like a ton of money sloshing around right now. I think Alex might be taking some of it.
Yo, that's crazy. Honestly, like Alex, everybody knows that he has like $1 billion lawsuit against him. He ain't got no extra cash. That's for damn sure. Alex is the last person I would think has any cash.
The FBI's way of penetrating and stopping China is in some ways flawed, and we'll be able to talk about that in the next couple of weeks as well.
Okay. Any hints? Which institution?
No, but I will say this: we once had a scandal in America in the '90s. I covered it. In fact, I broke the original stories. It was myself and Bob Woodward in the Wall Street Journal about the China fundraising scandal of the 1990s involving Bill Clinton, the Lincoln bedroom, the Buddhist monks. It would be not unsurprising to people to think that China would go back and once again try to inject money into the political system through a particular institution. And so it flows that the Chinese go back and reuse the same tactics. They let a little time pass and they reactivate. And I think given that we know they were targeting voter files, maybe trying to get voter registration votes for Donald Trump or for Joe.
Yeah, I'd like to see the FBI files and all that, or I'd like to see like actual paperwork. You know what I mean? It's like we say this a whole lot, but
I picked up the phone and Abraham's voice was different. He said that he got a call from his doctor, and the doctor told him that he has sacral chordoma. Very, very.
Now this is one person I wish would have never left. I liked her a lot. I thought she was doing a good job, and I felt like she was trying her hardest. It's not easy though. If you guys can hear me, man, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. This is out of my hands. been kicked twice now. I don't know if it's my internet or if it's them, but
appalled, maybe
it
even
is.
sickened or revolted, and definitely
I don't know
disillusioned.
what is going on.
Joining me now to discuss all of this and Bongino's continued meltdown is Brandon Strock. He is the founder of the Walk Away movement. He's also got a new podcast that is doing great. And apparently, it's what you had to say on your new podcast that set Bongino off this time, right? Because you were just pointing out that no one in the administration has still yet to really meet with J6 political prisoners or just listen to you all. Just sit down and listen, even if you don't do anything. Good to see you, Brandon.
Good to see you too. That's exactly right. I just started a new podcast. We're on episode 5, and I had Owen Schroyer on. Owen Schroyer is a pretty well-known alternative media journalist, formerly on InfoWars, and he also was somebody who was targeted for January 6th, and like me, did not go inside the Capitol. Like me, did not commit any violence or vandalism. And like me, was never contacted by Dan Bongino or Kash Patel or anybody within our new FBI to try to learn the truth about what happened to us or who was involved or why. And, a point that I made in that video, which, by the way, is about 7 minutes long, so I understand that you couldn't show all of it. But I would say that one of the most relevant points that I made, it kind of got sandwiched in there, was my case was handled and created by an FBI agent named Jeremy Desor. And Jeremy Desor, there was no case. I did not commit a crime on January 6th. So this FBI agent was basically tasked with creating a crime. So he literally manufactured things that I did not do and I did not say so that he could go to a judge. I was never indicted. This FBI agent went to a judge and requested an emergency order to have me arrested, which the judge in DC granted, which resulted in me being raided by the FBI and arrested and put in jail, and then having to spend the next 2 years fighting through a criminal case and a civil case and the January 6th committee.
Yeah, those guys on January 6th, man, they got so screwed. I can't even put it into words. My God. Yeah, there's almost no words. Like, what do I say to that even? The amount of lawfare that went on is downright diabolical and absolutely criminal. And how they were allowed to get away with it even, I still to this day, I'm brain busted. How were you allowed to do that to people and get away with it like that? And I don't get it.
And everything else based off of false information that was created by this agent. Well, once Dan Bongino and Kash Patel were put into the FBI, I repeatedly reached out to them to say, I need to talk to you about what I experienced on January 6th and agents in your agency who did this. And I got no response. And lo and behold, an entire year after the Trump administration came in, someone in the FBI was able to connect Agent Jeremy Desor, the agent who did this to me, to Arctic Frost, the weaponization against Donald Trump, and then they finally fired him. If someone had had a conversation with me for 5 minutes, They could have picked this guy out a year before.
Wow. This is how far this Iran war has put Trump behind in fixing our nation and doing what's necessary. You know what I mean? This is crazy. All right, let's read this. Very happy. Oh, well, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, True Social. Very happy to see the Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Pakistan have recently and finally signed the Mecca Joint Defense Agreement. It shows how the Middle East is coming together and how countries will finally be able to defend themselves in a more meaningful way. Congratulations to the great leadership of the three nations mentioned. This is a big, bold, and important first step. Wow. President Donald J. Trump. That's not a that's probably not a good thing for Israel, I'll say that. That probably puts Israel on a back seat. Well, good. I mean, good. I'm not, they don't have the right to be running around doing what they're doing over there. You know what I mean? They do not have the legitimate right to do that kind of stuff. That's absolutely insane what they're allowed to get away with. And I feel like it's up to the United States to put that in check. Because there's no way we should be funding that in any way or allowing that.
And approached him and asked him which kid he was there with and was about to call the cops. He confirmed he was there without a child, but it was immediately evident that he was severely developmentally disabled. Okay, so it's a retarded pedophile jerking himself to your children. That doesn't change anything, actually. I didn't want my Karen moment. Okay, so you hear that? Hold on. Let me get a highlighter. I need to highlight that. Do you see? She's not thinking for herself. She's not even thinking for her children. She's thinking about how she appears. She's thinking about what other people will think if she tries to do something. She's unwilling to confront a predator at a park spying on her children and doing lewd things. She hesitates because she doesn't want to look like a kid. It wouldn't be very cool to protect your children from a pedophile. You don't want to be a Karen, do you?
Children, no, that's your given right. Stuff, exactly. I mean,
Moms. It's a Facebook group. This mother says, I'm at a slope playground and there's a man in his 30s with no kids pleasing himself while watching the kids. Let's find out what happened. This man caught red-handed, may not be the best, caught in the act. Let's find out. I moved my kids to the other side of the playground. Okay, good start. And approached him and asked him which kid he was there with and was about to call the cops. He confirmed he was there without a child, but it was immediately evident that he was severely developmentally disabled. Okay, so it's
that doesn't mean anything. That don't give him the right to do that stuff, that's for sure. That's sick, depraved, and disgusting. That don't give the right. I don't care if you're mentally challenged or not. You call the police. What in the world is happening?
Overwhelmingly reject the ideas of the radical left. In order to get over that, the radical left needs to import a new electorate.
Yeah.
I think this is the primary motivating factor behind 4 years of open borders insanity. Mass migration impacts the apportionment of congressional seats. I think this is why Democrats love making their cities sanctuary cities. That's because they want as many illegal immigrants living in their states as possible. Yep. Then when the census comes around, more congressional seats are given to blue states. I think it's time we stop allowing the left to systematically rig our elections in their favor by importing a new electorate. If you agree, the link to help in this fight is right here. When Americans vote,
Dinesh D'Souza says, "You are known by the company you keep." Hassan Piker and the Democrats who embrace his violent rhetoric, the American Spectral, USA News Politics. Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, we all know who the real violent. The right. Okay, cool. They tried to say somehow that the right wing was the right, was the party of violence. And I would just say, where's your evidence? Where's your proof? Because I can show you 1,000 videos of you guys burning cities. During the 2020 riots, 26 people died. That had nothing to do with any of the George Floyd nonsense. I mean, we're not even talking. You're literally saying that out loud just to say it. That's all it is. It's some sort of weird.
We're either going to do the speech in Middletown, or maybe we're just going to visit the facility where my grandfather worked as a welder for close to 40 years at what's now the Cleveland Cliffs Middletown facility, but used to be Armco Steel. And again, it's such a perfect place to talk about what I think is the fundamental message of Donald Trump's economic nationalism, which is rebuilding American industry, rebuilding America's middle class in the process, and making America more self-reliant. Like, we have to stop relying on other people to make our stuff. We have to use American workers, American industry, and American ingenuity to build the products of the future. That steel mill, frankly, wouldn't exist were it not for Donald Trump's steel tariffs from the first administration and the second administration. So it's really a perfect place to drive home this message that American self-reliance really starts with better economic policy in Washington. And that's what we've been trying to do. I'm very excited because apparently...
Yeah, that's where it starts, is here at home. I mean, we need economic growth here. We need
what they say, and I think they genuinely believe this. I don't know how, but I think they genuinely believe that if they protect the filibuster for the next couple of years, then let's say the Democrats take over in 4 years, the Democrats are going to return the favor and protect the filibuster when they're in power. I don't know how anybody believes that. We have to remember that if you go back to Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin, by the way, two very good public servants.
But they did have a chance to get rid of the filibuster. I think the reason why getting rid of the filibuster is probably not a good idea is when they do take, then they're just going to shove through every bit of legislation they possibly can. And with the party that's getting in there, dear God help us. And I really believe that. It's like we're at a very pivotal moment right now where any bit of legislation they shove through could be, very well, like they're going to fill the courts. They're going to push whatever they want through. Then they're going to screw us so bad in there that whoever we do elect after that person's going to have to spend 4 years trying to unscrew us, if we even get back in office after that. They have brought in anywhere from, I heard, this is, just hearsay, but 10 for sure, I believe, to 20 million illegals who they're going to let vote, who are, in my mind, probably already voting. They just haven't said anything. You know what I mean? Like, that's why they're allowing the paper ballots to be mailed in. That's why they're not allowing voter ID. I don't know if destroying the filibuster is a good idea.
Moderate Democrats, I disagreed with them on a lot of issues, but they did protect the filibuster. And what happened to them? Were they promoted by the Democratic Party? No, they were destroyed by Chuck Schumer and the Senate Democrats. They sent a message that if you ever dare to stand against the national Senate Democrat leadership, we are going to destroy your career. And that means the filibuster has to go away. I guarantee you, even if there are some good Democrats in the Senate who would preserve the filibuster, to sort of show good faith to their Republican colleagues. They're never going to be allowed to do it by the Senate leadership. The politics of it are obvious. Senate Democrats are going to destroy the filibuster. And by the way, they're not going to do it to protect American election integrity. They're going to do it to add Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C. as states. They're going to do it to further weaken election integrity. And this is what I think that, again, it's not the majority of the Senate GOP, but a few senators have got to wake up to the reality that the Democrats are going to blow up the filibuster and try to destroy the country, pack the Supreme Court. We need to end the filibuster to save American elections. It's the smart and also the patriotic thing to do.
Yeah, I get where he's coming from. I get it. Basically, if they can end the filibuster right now, if they can just
considering the use of nuclear weapons in
if they can just end it now and just push through what we want to push through, then possibly there's a chance of stopping them in the future. I didn't look at it that way, to be quite honest, but that is such a double-edged sword that I almost don't know what to say to it, because it is such a double-edged sword. My goodness. Ugh. If this is where we're at, we're in a bad place. We're in a bad place. Because if they do manage to pack those courts, if they do manage to get through what they want to get through, I mean, we might be just over right there. So, God only knows. Oh, my Lord. Where are we right now in this country?
Iran. And he's been told knows what Marjorie Taylor Greene reported. I heard from multiple places, and it's been an ongoing issue for 6 months. Yeah, it's basically an Islamic NATO, and its first challenge comes because they said they weren't going to get involved in internal Muslim disputes, but they would get involved in non-Muslim disputes. This goes all the way back. You remember from World War I, where they were able to take on the Ottomans because they pretended, the Saudis and others, that they were those tribes in that part of the region, Arabian tribes. They pretended that the Ottomans were not true Muslims. I mean, that's how they had to go. So you have a pact that hasn't been in place since the Ottoman Empire, with Turkey providing the military manpower, Pakistan providing the nuclear umbrella, and Saudis providing the money. And
that is a deadly trio. I got to say, that is one deadly ass trio. Like he just said, one providing the arms, the other one providing the money, and the other one providing the nuclear. I thought Turkey had nukes. Yeah, it's here nor there right now, but nonetheless, that is kind of scary. Well, hey, they're 4,000 miles that way, so let that be over there, I guess.
The first challenge is going to be Israel attacking Turkey in Syria, and so what happens if they actually exercise that defense pact against Israel? Well, what happens if they exercise it against parts of the U.S.? Because that may happen if the U.S. were to use nuclear weapons. I mean, it has all this cascading, disastrous effects.
Real time, uncensored, unstoppable.
And you can catch the full interview between him and Robert Barnes over on alexjones.com. You can see it right there. And Alex Jones live on Rumble.
And during Trump's presidency, since April, when he was talking about using nukes to end their civil.
And on X.
People didn't think that's what he was talking about. It is what he was talking about. He's brought it up repeatedly.
Well,
in
the
White House.
surrogates were all saying, he said, tune in tonight. This is what I think. And it was a whole speech by, Israel's mouthpiece, Mark Levin, about B. Harry Truman drop A-bombs on him. And then you've even had a whole bunch of the other surrogates, including the late Princess Ladybug, Lindsey Graham.
That's always funny every time. Drop nukes. My God. The implications of that. If they did that, there's no way. The Arab countries over there would definitely be against us. There's just no way that they would. I can't imagine they would sit back and allow that to happen with no input at all, with absolutely nothing, just, it happened, just look the other way. I seriously doubt it. There's just no way.
So absolutely. So moving into this, what are the different scenarios that go bad to worse? Any real off ramps? And if I was the evil people running Israel, that's what I war game. They're going to need a false flag or something to blame Iran, try to get us back on board. We have high-level former Israeli intelligence military heads that are Likudniks saying, boy, we sure wish we had a new 9/11 right now to get America back on board. I see that as their ace card. What else could they have?
Yeah, I think the biggest risk is that right now the president is seriously considering the use of nuclear weapons in Iran. And he's been told no. So what Marjorie Taylor Greene reported, I heard from multiple places, and it's been an ongoing issue for 6 months. And previously General Kane has said no, he would even give President Trump the map to show potential targets. Trump is obsessed with winning and obsessed with winning on what he perceives as his terms. The problem is economically, militarily.
Oh, let me interrupt you because what you said is too
politically
important. Slow down here. And this was purposely leaked by the Pentagon. Mark Levin wanted him arrested until it came out it was the chairman just doing it, just to try to get Trump to listen because this is so dangerous. They already fired the head of the army because he said we can't have a ground invasion, don't have the troops. Trump asked, because the Pentagon has contingency battle plans and battle plans on battle plans, at least 7, 8, 10 levels deep for different scenarios. He asked for the attack plan, the nuclear attack plan for Iran that we have a bunch of, and it was on record. They said, no, we're not giving you the attack plan. Go ahead.
That's exactly right. And now he's back to that. That this past weekend at Camp David, he was saying he wanted to look at what those attack plan would look like. And that's why they leaked it right away to Marjorie Taylor Greene and others, because they're leaking because they know how dangerous this is, how risky this is. If you were to use a nuclear weapon there's a problem with the radioactive fallout would likely go all the way through the Gulf countries. You would have an Islamic revolution against you, not only Israel, but against the United States. We would become a political pariah globally. Russia and China would look at it and say, okay, if now it's okay to use nukes, it's okay for us to use nukes.
They'll use them in Ukraine just as sure as the sun came up within days of us doing it. That's what all the war games show.
And in fact, Russian high-ranking intellectuals, you've had some of their high-ranking political analysts on your show, have been recommending this to President Putin now for about 6 months because they think Russia's been too soft.
And Russia has signaled, Lavrov has signaled that is now ruled the day and is now in the pike. So the next escalation is to give telemetry and guidance to the Iranians, see how that worked out. The Russians are like, well, we don't want to keep escalating, but we're going to start hitting European weapons depots anytime now.
Exactly. And Iran would likely respond by taking out the nuclear facilities in Israel. And that may cause a massive fallout in Israel. And at a minimum, Iran would accelerate their nuclear weapons development because nuclear weapons won't take them out unless you drop all of them. The country's so big. The places like Pickaxe Mountain were literally physically designed and engineered to withstand a nuclear bomb attack. So the ability to take out, or this wouldn't even work.
Plus, we know they're not going to keep the finished weapons there. And the Iranians signaled this clearly. They can put it together in a matter of days. It's like, how fast can mom cook a pie? And now they've said, well, we're not going to follow the last mullah and his fatwa. We now say it's okay to build a nuke. So they're kind of signaling like Israel, we got nukes, but we're not admitting it. My intel is they have nukes.
And what it would do is it would accelerate not only in Iran, but the whole world. Because imagine Trump is going around telling everybody how he likes Kim Jong-un because Kim Jong-un has 57 nukes, but he has to take out Iran at the same time. And it's like the message is get nukes. If you want to be safe, you need nukes.
And Kim Jong-un has said repeatedly, if Israel nukes Iran, I'll nuke them. And Pakistan has too. And now, what about the Pakistan nuclear umbrella with Syria's talking about entering it with Turkey and with Saudi Arabia? That's got to be a big deal.
Yeah, it's basically an Islamic NATO. And its first challenge comes because they said they weren't going to get involved in internal Muslim disputes, but they would get involved in non-Muslim disputes. This goes all the way back. You remember from World War I where they were able to take on the Ottomans because they pretended the Saudis and others that they were those tribes in that part of the region, Arabian tribes. They pretended that the Ottomans were not true Muslims. I mean, that's how they had to go. So you have a pact that hasn't been in place since the Ottoman Empire, with Turkey providing the military manpower, Pakistan providing the nuclear umbrella, and Saudis providing the money. And the first challenge is going to
What a scary ass trio. Oh, man. Could you imagine if we just threw Iran in there for the hell of it? Like, that would be, how effed would Israel be? Oh, my God. They probably did that because of Israel, right? You know what I mean? Like Israel has gone off the rails talking about Turkey and then I think Egypt as well. What have they done to themselves, honestly? You know, I guess you get what you put in. That's for sure. Like, can you imagine being Israel right now and you're just surrounded by this trio of devastation if they wanted to? Pakistan with the nukes, the UAE with the money, Turkey with the troops. How in the hell? Oh, they'd be so screwed. That's probably to stop them from further advancing, because look at, they've taken Lebanon, they've taken brain fart. Anyways, we all know they've taken their neighbors and UAE, Iran, or not Iran, UAE, Turkey, and Pakistan are probably look at that going, how do we stop these mother? You know what I mean? Let's make a pact. Yeah. Palestine. Sorry. Brain fart. Palestine, Lebanon. That's what I meant to say earlier. Oh, what have they done? And they think that what? We're going to protect them? We're going to just step in when they got the trio of doom on them? I mean, I would hope not.
Be Israel attacking Turkey and Syria. And so what happens if they actually exercise that defense pact against Israel? Well, it happens if they exercise it against parts of the U.S., because that may happen if the U.S. were to use nuclear weapons. I mean, it has all this cascading disastrous effects.
The great folks at Bigley just came out with a deal that is
all his bovine gummies. I want to try them.
Some procedural things under Article 1, but, you know, overruling the parliamentarian, pushing this vote forward, is there anything you can do to get this done before the midterms?
Yeah, so we've actually looked into this, and you're right. As the president of the Senate under the U.S. Constitution, there are things that we can do. We can take over the Senate chair. I can occupy the chair. We can overrule the parliamentarian. Those things are very possible. But the fundamental issue with that is not the 60 vote threshold. It's the 50.
You know, I like Vance. There's something about him. I like the guy. I think he'd be an all right president. I'm not 100%, but I think he'd be an all right president. I kind of like the guy. I don't know. I'd like to see a little more out of him before I make a full judgment against him or for him. But I kind of like the guy. Something about him. I think he's smooth, man. You know what I mean? He's just a smooth operator. And I kind of like that. And I think it's something we need. Him or Rubio, I wonder. I think Rubio has been on the inside too long, and he's one of those go along to get along kind of guys. But I think Vance, you know, he hasn't cut his teeth really. And I think he's the kind of guy who might, and I don't know, I need to see a little more from him. I think he's the kind of guy who would get in there and really do something. You know what I mean?
Vote threshold. So if, for example, I took over the Senate chair and I overruled the parliamentarian, we would need to sustain 50 senators plus me. Obviously, I would vote the right way. Mm-hmm. We need to sustain 50 senators to support that decision. Now, obviously, most Republicans would support it, but could we get 50? That's the big question. That's something that obviously the president and I and others in the White House have been working on, trying to have this conversation. You know, the fundamental problem, there's a good news, bad news situation here, mm-hmm. which is we have a way better United States Senate today, a way better Senate GOP today than we had 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. But you still have some senators who are so committed to these ridiculous parliamentary rules, even though they know the Democrats aren't. And this is what I find so preposterous about this is It's basically you have a few GOP senators who are unilaterally disarming, even though they know that Senate Democrats, whenever the Senate Democrats next take the majority, hopefully 30, 40, 50 years from now, hopefully never, but if they do it 2 years from now or 4 years from now, the Senate Democrats are going to blow up the filibuster. And this is why the president says we have got to just get rid of the filibuster. Then you don't have to worry about the parliamentarian. The problem is not the majority of GOP senators. It's that you've got a few holdouts who just don't want to do that because they're so committed to these archaic rules.
Just remember, though,
You're president of the Senate. You obviously there is some.
just remember, every time there's an equal reaction on the other side. It's always a double-edged sword, because anything we do to move and progress us, they're going to do the same. And when we complain about it or we say something, they're going to go, "But hey, you did it. You did it." And you know how good they are at turning things around, turning things against us, and then holding our feet to that exact same fire. And we don't do the same with them. This is where I'm tired of the game, and we need to honestly, we got to just start playing the same game that they play. We can't allow them to rule the, do something. You notice that, and here's what I mean by it. Every time they put something into play, it never gets called foul ball, and it never gets brought back out. You never get your free throw shots on it. You know what I mean? To put it into a little basketball analogy there. They change the game and the rules all the time and never get called out.
I think they've created like an.
And that's our number one problem, is we need to start calling them out. We need to start, and then we need to start playing the same game that they play. We really do. We can't lay down anymore. It's got to be a hit for a hit. It's just got to be.
Operation Gladio, Cuban style refugee type army with the Ukrainians, because they're showing up with all the false flags. That's who's connected to Israel doing false flags. And according to Professor Morandi, that's who did the false flags in Iraq against the Kurdistan leaders and against Saudi Arabia. There's discussions that they may be responsible. They were trying to stage
the attack on the Egyptian port.
Yeah, exactly. The attack on the Egyptian port, that they may be connected to India outed them. Because, I mean, what they did is Ukraine is a perfect place for the CIA to put together a bunch of corrupt, crazy, neo-Nazi. Remember, they combined them. They were recruiting mercs from the drug cartel.
Yeah, it's Operation Mongoose Crew 2.0.
Exactly. Combine Operation Mongoose with Operation Gladio, throw it in Ukraine, add in some drug cartel soldiers, add in some radical Islamists, both of whom have been recruited to connect to people in Ukraine. And all of a sudden, you've got a portable deep state army to create false flags all around the world. So
look at the shooter was clearly out of a Ukrainian cutout at Mar-a-Lago, and then Trump didn't want that investigated. Or Butler. What do you really think at Butler happening now that we now confirmed Trump killed an investigation of that? Because I don't know how you stage something looks that real, but why would he then kill an investigation?
I think that at April of last year is when things started to switch. Because you look in the people that think Trump had already agreed to sell out last year or something else. Problem with that is he puts Tulsi Gabbard in, he puts Joe Kent in, he puts J.D. Vance in.
No, clearly the change happened in April, May. Yeah, that's
exactly. Remember, and that's when what the tip off to me was not the Epstein files going AWOL. It was in that same interview, Bongino running cover and saying nothing special happened in Butler. And I was like, whoa, hold on a second. Butler's never been explained to us. This guy looks like a Manchurian candidate cutout. He had 8 phones? He had all kinds of secret accounts.
His house was cleaner than a surgical room. Absolutely.
Real time, uncensored, unstoppable. AlexJonesLive.com. Take a stand. Share the link.
Do you want to
What is he? Oh, is that bovine colostrum? That's definitely AI made. Yeah, that's Jesus. All right. Yep. There's that. There's that.
Because Bibi Netanyahu is behind and badly behind in the polls for the upcoming election in October.
Israel/U.S. strike on Iran's former president acted as a jailbreak from regime control. Since his alleged escape, Ahmadinejad, oh God, I butchered that, has made few public addresses, including a congratulatory message to, I can't
So, and
say
for
that,
Bibi,
rise to supreme leader. Mojtaba Khamenei. Mojtaba Khamenei. I think that's how it's said. Oh God, him just butchering it.
see, that isn't just losing an election.
Wait. I thought they liked this guy. I heard something. They were saying something about putting him back in charge in Iran if they could.
And for Ben Gvir and Samotra and all that crowd, the Greater Israel Project crowd, they see it as this may be their last opportunity in the next to preserve their project, because the leading general, while he's a hardline general, he is skeptical of the Greater Israel Project and has previously suggested a two-state solution might work in Israel. So that's who's the likely next prime minister. So in order to avoid that, they're going to try to create mass chaos between now and October. That's why they're hitting Turkey and Syria. That's why they're escalating in Lebanon. That's why they told Trump, F off when it came to Gaza, that they weren't going to honor or respect the Gaza deal at all. That's why they're encouraging the president to escalate, including using nuclear weapons against Iran. And for Bibi personally, if he doesn't win, he goes to prison and likely dies there. So,
yeah, that's where he deserves to be, though. In my opinion. I mean, look what he's done. Can't murder all those innocent people and get away with it. Well, I guess you can, but let's hope not.
So that's why it's going to get much worse before it gets better over the next 60 days.
Real time, uncensored, unstoppable. Alex Jones.
All right, guys, I am going to get off. I don't know what happened earlier. I think Rumble was having some glitches because I checked my internet speed. I checked my computer. Everything was running perfect on my end of this. So I don't know what was going on, to be quite honest with you. But we restarted and everything seems to be working. I went on rumble.com and I was kind of watching on there at the same time. And everything seemed to be going just fine. Tomorrow's episode will be live from the gym parking lot. We're going to try that again. We're going to go on there and do a 2.0 basically. So I'm going to pre-test the mic before. So there might be like one episode, you might see me on for like 5 minutes and then I'm going to shut it off and just listen to it and make sure that it's doing what it's supposed to do. Other than that, hopefully it all goes to plan and it's not like Wednesday's video. I think it was Wednesday or Tuesday. Yeah, it's been rough trying to get on here and stream at a proper time. I got 2 jobs, guys. And on top of the 2 jobs, I try to do this and I got to come home and do all my other stuff here at home. So it's kind of rough. Nonetheless, I appreciate you guys for coming, man. If you just hit that like, hit that sub button, it helps. Leaps and bounds more than you know. It'll notify you when I'm on next time. I will be on tomorrow, probably about 4 something-ish. I can't tell you for sure because I get out of work, then I have to go, So I get out of one job, I got to go hop to the other. So we'll see what time. It's going to be probably like, I'd say between 4 and 4:30-ish, somewhere around there. So I appreciate you guys. Much love, man. Thank you for sticking with me and coming back after the absolute insanity. I appreciate it. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful night, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace out.